Hey guys, what's up? It's Team Dial here, at least, well, Black Dragon. What we're doing for you today is we're doing a pretty simple thing, working on the Miata here. Now, a lot of people when they work on the Miata, the alternator can be a bit of a pain in the butt. There's a way to get around it, not a lot of people realize. So, this is a 95 Miata, 1.8 liter, nothing really too amazing with it. We have the oil catch here, which really its main benefit was the fact that it stopped just dumping oil directly into the intake. As you see, basically just went from there to there. One fell swoop. It was kind of a terrible deal. Now though, it's a heck of a lot better because it gets dropped into this, and that tube there would be filled with oil if it was filled, and then it gets filtered again before it goes into the intake. Very nice, helps out a heck of a lot on these Miatas because otherwise they're drowned by their dirt. Then just have a coil pack relocation. Only reason is because we did the coolant reroute. Now the coolant reroute was pretty straightforward. Move the coolant hose from the back and reroute it all the way to the front here. The way it used to work is right here it would just come off this pipe and directly onto the top of the radiator. Now the problem with that was the back two cylinders of the engine were always burning hot. Never getting enough coolant, always being warmer than they could be, kind of thing. So basically all you do is you swap your two ends. This is swapped from the back side and the other one was on the front. So basically your heater line, you just need to get it extended out and stuff like that. Makes it really nice and easy. But what we get to do today is just finish putting in the alternator. I got most of it done this morning. Ran into a problem where I got the wrong belt, but should be a heck of a lot better now. So we have a couple of belts over here. First one to try out is Gates KO40353. Hopefully it fits. It looked like it had just enough more room. Apparently the belt that was for this vehicle is no longer being made for the alternator. And then we got a K040355. Worst case scenario, it's like an extra inch. I got this one because it was bare minimum of what was needed to be done. So, now, when we were pulling the pulling the alternator, a lot of people end up pulling the whole intake because of they think you have to. Well, there's a support bracket, which, as you can kind of see those two bolt holes, that's where the support bracket was. Now, support bracket is pretty simple. Just going to pull it up here for you. I already have it out of the vehicle. So there's the two that would be on the intake, two bolt holes, and then you have this bottom one, which goes against the block. So, looks like this when you're down and under it. Benefit of this nice little bracket is that you can literally just remove this and not have to remove your entire intake just to get to the alternator or even the starter. This little piece here is the blockade. This is what stops almost everyone else from getting through. And I don't even have my car jacked up. It's at the stock height. And I have just enough clearance to actually do stuff here, which, here, look at the light. So, I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot of room, but that is literally just under a foot of room, and it is more than enough for this. So that's a big benefit of just yanking out that bracket. Now, to yank that bracket out, it's the two bolts there that I showed you. And then there's one more set of bolts. Let's get down here. It's right. Might be that thing right there. Where my light is shining. That's it. That bolt hole. And it makes it really easy. All three bolts are 14 millimeter. Yeah, so it makes life nice and easy. As you can see, it's kind of nasty under here. I had an issue where my oil cap managed to unscrew itself. Yeah, don't know how the heck that happened, but yeah. So, now we're just going to go ahead and pop the belts on. Give us a minute here to do that, and we'll be back with you. Here we go. Alright, so just grabbing the belt. Gonna do a quick test fit. If we're lucky, it'll just swipe right on compared to having to yank and tug with it like we were before. Alright, so we got it on the alternator. All the tension fasteners are nice and loose. Alright, got a water pump here. And, well, let's see, it doesn't seem like we're getting much more progress than we were before. Maybe a little bit more progress than we were before, but let's see. Yep, there we go. So the one to go for is a KO 40353. So if you find yourself going to fix your Miata and you need a new alternator belt, this is going to be the one for you. I think you can see it there. This is a Gates. I always prefer Gates over a lot of the other brands, more reliable. Basically, 9 times out of 10, if something's going to work, it's going to be Gates. So, alright, now I guess I'll just tighten up the brackets and we'll get this finished up here. Now for the bracket on the side here that actually tightens up the alternator, it's a 12mm. The easiest way to get in, especially if you have the coolant reroute done like I have, so my coolant pipe runs right next to it, is with a 12mm wrench. It's nice if it's a ratcheting wrench, because life is easy. So there's my little ratcheting wrench. Here we go. Tighten the sucker up and then we should be good to go again. Or not. Come on, work with me. Yeah, it's so loose. That'll be enough. Now that's finger tight. Only problem with Miata, really tight spacing, no matter what you do. I have an aftermarket triple core radiator, which doesn't help my case either. It is literally 3 times the thickness of the old one, but because of the design of it, it actually sits further forward. So in the complete package, it's actually about the same size as the stock radiator's placement. This just makes better use of the area. So then I have a slim cooler fan, which I'll show you here in a moment. That should be enough. It's about a 1/2 inch of deflection. Now, there's basically 3 bolts to worry about on the alternator. You got the one that's actually going to be middle top of the alternator, which actually tightens the bracket, which does the belt tensioning. Then you have the one on the far right, which actually tightens the bracket itself to the alternator. Then you have the one on the bottom, which holds the alternator to the block. The thing with that one is it's actually pointed reverse, so all the other alternator bolts are going towards the back of the car, and this one's coming and pointing towards you. And you have to get in and under the car, which is never a fun situation with a Miata. But, you know, you live. I'm going to get my flex wrench. This thing right here saves my life all the time with all its little angles. If you don't have one, trust me, you're missing out. They do save your life a lot. Makes it a lot easier to get to. tighten up the main bolt that actually holds the bracket in place. Okay, that wasn't too much to actually have to tighten there. Still leaving everything a little bit loose. Just needed to center the bracket a little bit better on the alternator. Alright, now we'll get this belt back to tightness. Have almost no room to tighten up this belt. So I'd probably say, judging by how long this bolt is, you could live with the extra length that's on that other belt. It only has about an inch of extra room, and there is no reason why you wouldn't want a little bit of extra room actually. But this belt I'll stick with because it's nice and tight, looks good. Double check everything here. It's all aligned. Hopefully this one doesn't blow a dial like the last one within a week. Alright, so that's good. Now we're going to put the bracket back in. So this is where it's going to be a little bit interesting, just because of the angle and everything that's in. It's fairly easy. I mean, basically, leave everything nice and loose in the beginning. Of course, use the bottom bracket bolt first so you can just get it up and in there. You can maneuver it around once you're up top to line it up the rest of the way, but start with this. So now we're going to go into the car and get this bad boy lined up. I think I'm going to move this light down the stairs with us because we're going to need the light. Alright, so here we go. Here we go. That was fantastic. Alright, I'm going to grab the 14 here. Okay, so I need to get it up in there at this point. Let's see if I can set this little camera. We're using the nice little Sony camera today. Giving her a virgin test. See how we like her. Okay. Now, you're kind of have to finagle this past the alternator and a few other things. Once you get it, it's nice and easy. It's literally nothing. I mean, let's see here. As I say that and then get stuck. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? Oh, it's nice and easy. And I'm stuck. Alright, almost got it. Just need this bolt to line up. That'd be nice. Come on, bolt. There we go. Got it lined up. Now I would just get it a few turns in because really the top two bolts are going to center it out. And this one, you just want to get about hand tight maybe, not even that quite. Because you don't want it not flexing enough to line up correctly with the intake. But otherwise, on this stupid alternator, as you might be able to notice, this bolt here does not come out. And you also have back there the starter, which will not come out because of this terrible, ugly, yeah, that thing. You get the idea. It's just a kind of a sleeve design, but look at the cylinder things. It'll work in your favor. Let's see. It's like stationary. Alright, that should do it. Okay, we're back in business, guys. Alright. Now, get this a little bit tighter. That's more than enough. It's already kind of snugged. Alright, now we'll go back to the top to the land of the living. Alright, so next two things we need to get to are those two guys. see if I can set this somewhere again. Yeah, we can kind of see that a little bit better. Alright, let me grab and reach here. I'm gonna get my phone. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit possible. Can you guys see? Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see. You'll see what I've been screwing with. Alright. So, my bracket is not lined up whatsoever at this point, so you're going to have to reach in and under the intake as best as you can. By no means will it be nice, will it be friendly, and you're probably going to get bit by the nice aluminum. Let's see. I didn't take much slack on that thing down there. Maybe I need to bring off some more slack on it. I'll just give it a little bit more slack here. This is where it's a little bit annoying because you gotta figure out your slack and how much you really want to give it. And apparently mine wants more. Alright, that should give me plenty. But, as always with cars, you find out about 3 seconds later. You know what? It's not wanting to work with me now. Let's see what we can get going here. Try a little bit more. Gonna reverse my method. I just kind of have it stuck on the alternator so it won't fall. Now I'll try and, because this piece is really light. It weighs maybe an ounce, feels like sometimes. It's nothing. Alright, there we go. So, apparently it wants the opposite of the normal method that's supposed to work tonight. But in general, the easiest is to mount that bottom bracket and then go from there. So bam, and then just get both the top ones at least started, make your life easier, at least as easy as possible. Because these are, again, the ones. Oh, wow. That sucked. Well, with either method. It's just being a brat now. Try and get this thing in again. Gosh almighty. seems to be that the bracket managed to get a little bit bent or something. So now I kind of forced it to be in line from the bottom like I normally get it to be. That should help our situation out. Let's see what we got here. Should be more than enough to make that thing work now. It's kind of weird, I haven't ever had that happen with this thing. Like, I've only had to do this twice, but alright. Now it's being friendly with us again. Miatas, they always gotta give us props. That is their... Oh. And I dropped the bolt. Oh well. Go down here and get it with you guys. Ugh. Nice thing is when you take off the bottom panel for the underskirt, it's almost 100% to the ground drop rate with anything you may lose. Very handy, just saying. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am not perfect when it comes to my bolts and not losing them and such. Nice little flex wrench again. Again, you want to do this top two first, trying to keep them as best as you can in tandem, so when they lock down they're pretty even. But don't lock these completely, just get them to where they're lined up, and then go for that bottom bracket, because that's the one that's really going to matter. That's the one that you need locked dead center, but these just help it so it's actually going to line up nice and easy, rather than you having to look and check and quadruple check, triple check, all that kind of junk. Because I personally don't like going up and down between the vehicle and checking it 6 times. Granted, if I had a lift, it would be nicer, but... Alright, so those two have now been lined up. Yep, lost my socket. There we go. Now we'll go down under and get the bottom bolt bracket tightened up. And with this, about 20 foot-pounds is good. It says about 30, but I've noticed that because of the way it's bolting in, that generally does not end well for the bolt. Usually breaks it. Bottom one is nice and tight. Now, oh, there's my extension. Bad with tools, I'll leave them all over the place, I swear. And these two right around 15 as well, because this is bolting into aluminum, so you don't really want to lock these down, but you want them nice and tight. They're just a support bracket, so. Well, that should do it. Alright. Wow, really? Well, that's fantastic. These Miatas will eat just about anything, I swear. Including a Note 4. Alright guys, been fun with you. This is Black Dragon with Team Dial. Have a good night.